KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Four 402-999-4620. Starter Hammer text line. The Honda Lincoln hotline's a little busy, so that's not the way. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Jump into the chats. Text away because we bring in the man, the myth, the legend, our dude, our number one dude. But first,
the autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
gimme.
What up, DP?
Gimme that.
Hey, man.
Gimme
You're rocking
that.
the Brothers Johnson. I just want to know if I missed Frankie Beverly and Mays. I mean, how old school are we going to get on this thing?
Oh, no. Barry.
Number 23. Come on,
Barry.
man.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In studio, we just had some Black Sheep, this or that. We had some Grand Poobah.
God.
We had some MC Light. We had
MC Light. That's my girl right
right.
there.
We had some Dougie Fresh, the show. We had some Run DMC. We were in the game early.
Oh my God.
We were in the game, man. You know.
Oh, good night.
So this is how we get down. Yeah. You know, let the folks know, where are you?
I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been here for a couple days. We were here for the National Scouting Combine with Guy. And because of the way that kind of went and the NFL Combine starting up, so I extended my stay, and I'm going to I may need to talk to you and Jay if there's a little way that you can get a little help, but I'm going to go on over there and watch some of that. Then I hit the road Friday, and I'm back on the field Saturday morning, training some quarterbacks from the Big Ten.
Yeah, you're going to have a little bit more swagger when you get back, because there's the payoff. There's the payoff that now, to young cats, young quarterbacks around, they get to see the end game, because they've worked out around and with Guy Myers, right? They've been around.
Yeah, it was funny. Guy, just for your listeners, being from a small school and kind of climbing, there's a process where somebody kind of bubbles up, and Guy took a step in that direction. The combine, it was 2 days. He did the testing and so forth, and he came back and did the throwing. He did okay on the testing. He learned a little bit about how to prepare for that, but he really shined on the position work and was one of the ones chosen. And what happened is that the scouts that were there were very excited about him. And I mean, not just looking at him, they were calling back to home offices, and it was really a good day for him. So that starts that bubbling thing where people are now talking about this guy that you showed well. And then there's another step, right? We have some things coming up in April. and there'll be some things that get generated from this. So he's getting in a position where he's getting closer to having options. And like you said, I had to let the emotions kind of settle for a little bit. Of course, I was happy for him. But when I got up this morning, I immediately started texting all my other quarterbacks. Exactly what I did. I said, here's what he did. Be happy for him. But I'm also texting you to let you know, keep being patiently impatient and dream big. And then all the receivers that, constantly come out, I let them know, hey, you did really well. Thanks for helping getting it prepared. And so, yeah, it takes a lot of people to get it done. And, he was kind of that pebble in the pond, and the ripples, went out yesterday. Yep.
What helped him step up? So what's the process for quarterbacks out there, and dads of quarterbacks, moms of quarterbacks, receivers of quarterbacks, right? Who are here, who are trying to, you may not be Nebraska's next starting quarterback, but you can be a guy who's out there putting in work wherever you are. What are the necessities? What are the things that guy learned yesterday, or that guy brought to the table, recognizing in order to be at this level, this is what has to happen?
Right. He really brought stuff to the table. So let's skip the 3-hour show on, what it takes to get through to say where Noah is, Noah Walters. Right. Let's skip that. And let's skip the 2-hour show, the path that all of those guys and all my guys in college that they're going to go through, right? Because there's just a ton of stuff that they're going to go through. All right, so we're out the other side of that. So what happens in that last leg of that, or I call it the second stage of their career? You have youth high school, then you have college. The second stage of your career is hopefully what you develop is grit. And there's not another way for me to describe it, that you develop. Angela Duckworth did a book called, I think she called Grit, and she did a TED Talk. But that is the essence, that gets developed, because at that point, once you have that, then you can the world starts to open up to you. So Guy had to understand what it meant to be a professional. Like, school's over, but I'm getting up at 8:00 and I got to do this, 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 and I don't get home till 7:00, right? And then how to manage that schedule and to drive through it. From a quarterback perspective, with these combines, you kind of, in a school sense, you kind of teach to the test, right? Because that's what you're going to be evaluated on. So, cleaning mechanics have to be clean. You have to have a firm understanding of how each ball is going to be thrown, and then also an understanding of what types of balls are going to be thrown, right? Because there's requirements. They're testing all that things when they're evaluating. I'll give you a simple thing. If there's a bunch of right-handed quarterbacks out there, I guarantee the guy who's running that drill is probably going to have you roll out to your left a lot, right? Because they're looking for what would distinguish you. A guy that's really good is going to throw good to both sides. You'll assume you can throw well to your right side, right? That's your strong side. But you're going to have a lot of rollouts to your left, right? Or they may start the passing on your left, right? Because some quarterbacks don't know the subtle footwork to get themselves lined up, and you can start eliminating guys. So that's the expertise that you have to acquire. And then that daily work ethic and understand. And it takes a good team. He landed or chose a great agent at GHG Sports, JO, we call him John. John had already walked people through this process, small school. He's got guys on NFL rosters and guys that got drafted in the USFL. So that was important because he had a plan as to how to get this done. You have to have a team. Either you're going to a facility, or in our case, we already had a team kind of set up, right, between me training and Joshua Chamberlain, training him at Accelerate. And then he had to take care of his nutrition, and he has great support from his family. So it's all of that stuff. It takes a lot. And then, of course, the guys that came out, the receivers that I would pull in, hey, can you come after school? And many of these guys, by the way, they were in track season, or they were, finishing up the basketball, but they would still find a way to come out. So it takes a lot. But it can be done. can be done.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing, right? So that for listeners who don't know, or quarterbacks who don't understand, or dads or coaches who aren't necessarily coaching it, give me the list of the throws that quarterbacks being evaluated are
Right.
going to need to make at a high volume, at a high level. Let's go
Well,
through the throws.
right. So you definitely want, so at the combine that we're at yesterday and the one that's coming up, there's a very type of basic throws, right? That's what they do. That's their format. So you may go somewhere else and there's a different format. But in the main, you have to be kind of wake up and throw all the short and mid-range stuff. So a slant you should never miss, a hitch you should never miss, the 10-yard out you should never miss, come back, curl. That has to be things you just don't miss on, right? When you go downfield at the higher levels, there's different types of balls that you need to throw. So you need to be adverse or schooled in those types of throws. There's a bender, against a cover 2 look, right? How do you get that past the linebacker? How do you locate it? There are 7 routes. You're throwing it to tight end. It's going to be a much flatter ball than, say, if you had a slot or wide receiver that motioned in and he runs it. Your deep balls. There are different types of deep balls. The deep balls, sometimes your guys just smoke the dude.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to put it with air out in front of them and let them keep winning, right? You don't want to slow them down. The other deep ball is the defensive back has them covered, maybe inside shoulder, and then you've got to be able to move him, say, from the top of the numbers to the bottom of the numbers. So the classic kind of, I'm throwing them open. Guy had 2 nice throws yesterday. They're running over routes, and the defender was underneath on the inside shoulder. And sometimes what young quarterbacks will do is they'll try to jam it or fit it in that tight little space where the hands will be. Well, guy on the fly just gave it enough little air, because in that position, the receiver's actually winning, right? He's actually winning if you throw him the right way. And so he executed that. So it's those types of things. It's the accuracy, and then your ability to manipulate the ball for the given situation that it needs to be. So it takes a lot. A lot of work.
Do you get into the concepts of corner routes, fades, the back shoulder? Do you get into that sort of stuff?
No, not in this, not in these. At least so understand what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to look at these combines and try to figure out, or understand, what did they do, and then I'm looking at those, and then I'm literally teaching to the test, right? So we go out. Well, our throwing routine is those drills. Now, we want to keep the development going, right? Because there's going to be situations like he was chosen to throw one-on-ones yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's another whole thing, right? You got different type of receivers, defensive backs playing bump coverage, right? And you don't know exactly. I mean, they're not making up the routes. They're given the route to execute. But that's a certain thing. So one of the things that we do in our prep is I do have high school receivers. Then sometimes I'll get a college guy that's around or so forth. And early on, guys said, this guy. So I said, listen, you got to get good at throwing all kinds of guys. On corner routes, right? I would tell them in a format like this, I said, the best thing that they could ever say to you is you're late. I said, I don't need you guessing as to what high angle means to this guy you've never thrown before. So one of the little things that we say, I said, just go back, watch the top of the helmet. The helmet will set the angle, then throw the ball. Because it's, what I mean? We're not playing a game. We're trying to complete a pass. So there's little things like that go into it. Like we'll come up and run sevens, and the receivers have a bunch of different questions, and I'll say, no, just go ahead and run it. We'll figure it out. So that's kind of how he practiced, and he did well on that yesterday. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then what's the volume of throws on a day like that? Like, how do you prepare that? How do you prepare?
I'd have to go back and count. Like I can give you some count.
Right.
Our warm up is, we warm them up physically, and then we have 3 throws. It's just a warm up. I use all my quarterbacks. We call it feet cement. I'm not going to go through. I just need to set it simple. But we do 3 throws of that. Then the receiver moves back 5. We do 3 there. That would be 10 yards, and then 3 there. So that's 9 throws. So we go that one, get set. What's the other one? Breaking step, and then throw. So 4 times 9. So there's 36 throws that they use to warm up. And then when we go through these patterns, gosh, we're probably up around 7,500 balls. It's got to be.
Well, that's why that's why. I mean, that's the number that sits
Yeah.
in my head, and that in a combine situation, what happens is that's different is that every throw is assessed, even the warm up throws, right?
Yeah.
Right, like you're.
Well, let me stop you. The hotel is observed.
Right. Right.
Yes. Let me interrupt a little bit, and I don't want to hold your point, but when I was watching the quarterbacks, there were 3 that were above. Right, there was guys. I'll just give you a number: 125 and 175. And they at the end, right, they called the receivers and defensive back, and they only called 2 quarterbacks, guy and say 175, but not the 125 guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw the ball really well. So I kind of saddled off the side and I said, 125 threw pretty well. And he goes, yeah, but I said, no, I don't. Because it was, and he didn't go at him directly, but he said, Guy really presents himself well in the hotel and things like that. So I don't know what, I shouldn't say the number out loud, but that wasn't the right number. Let's say it's 118. Okay. But there was a guy that I thought threw really well. And for some reason he was omitted, and it had to do with, whatever extra things that they had observed from. But back to your point about observing everything.
No, it's spectacular. We're talking to Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. Yeah. He's live at Indy, and it's combine work. And it's what you just said rings so important. And parents and high school players, I just want to repeat this. Mm-hmm. It is not only what you do when it is live. It is what you do when you think nobody's looking. When you think nobody's watching, they're watching. And if you're not getting the call that you think you should be getting, it might be, and it probably is, something else. I'll
give you 2 quick comments about that, DP. One guy came up and spoke to me, and they found out that I was associated with the guy. And one of the things he mentioned said, Guy came to the meeting with a notebook. So, I guess the other guys didn't, but Guy did. And then I had this agent who had some clients there, talked to him a little bit. He had a few kids from University of Charleston where Guy went to school. And he was looking at this one quarterback, and I said, yeah, that guy throws pretty well. He says, man, but take the hat off. And I looked at him, he says, man, and what his point was, you don't look like a professional quarterback. That's not how, in his mind, a professional quarterback presents, right? And so he's eliminating a guy on that. And if he's doing that, then that at least somebody else in the room. Doesn't have to be fair, but if you look at the guys in the NFL and how they present themselves, right? There's a certain look, and so there's a lot of that was going on in the field. Guys were eliminating themselves left and right,
whether they knew it or not.
They certainly didn't know it,
right? Like, I mean, but that's and that's the awareness, because you say to people. So I know that locally, some high school kids are being introduced to Memorial Stadium and the process and the buildings and all those things. And sometimes they get lost in the wash because of other things that, controllables. They didn't control the controllables, which is, how you move from drill to drill, how you carry yourself in between throws, how you communicate, how you react to a negative situation. All those things are super important. It's like, you make a throw that doesn't land the way you want it to land. Your reaction to it tells the coaches everything they want to know about you.
Yes. And on that subject, I think this. I've always told my quarterbacks, if it hits a smack in the hand, tell the receiver it's my bad, or I got you next time. Mm-hmm. Right? It's really because there's a whole thing.
Well, that's because you played with me, and it was always your fault. It was always your fault. It was never my fault. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I spun the ball the wrong way.
Yeah. You're left-handed. Like it's all your fault. Right. So, but that communication thing, and I had a conversation with a receivers coach who said a very opposite thing, but it was the same thing in theory. Was that we were my bad conversation that I have with players.
Right.
Is that my bad will get you my bench.
Yeah, right. My bad sits right on the bench. Yeah.
Right. My bad is my bad will get you right on my bench. And so we said to people, listen, be careful about that ownership thing. Sometimes you just let it pass. Because speaking to it sometimes will make people think, well, if there are that many my bads, then you're not very good.
By the way, you know what the new my bad is I got you, coach.
I got you, coach.
I got you, coach. No, you don't got me.
Yeah.
Because if you had me, you wouldn't be saying I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, coach. But that's the new one. It's I got you, coach.
Well,
there you go.
So what is it about and we've seen it over the course of years. There's a thing that the current athlete does, which is they nod yes, even though they don't understand.
Well, I swear you're always listening. Check my phone. I have, in my indoor training, I have been emphasizing that this year more than ever. I've always told my quarterbacks, knowing that they are the I got it coach guy, when they don't always really have it, right? It's just the nature of the position. You kind of feel like, you're the guy. And through their athletic abilities, they usually noodle their way around, a problem or an issue that they don't know. But I've repeatedly told my quarterbacks ever since, I said, I don't know is a great, and I'm not going to swear, but a great effing answer. And I do swear to make the emphasis. I use the French word there, as they say. I say it's a great effing answer around me. And this season, more than ever, I've emphasized that. And in the middle of our training and doing all stuff, I'll stop and I'll ask a question and I'll say, which of you do not know what I'm talking about? And they've gotten so much better at raising hands, and we'll stop right there on the surface, right? And I'll explain something, and it can be the simplest things. Like I had some 12 and 15-year-olds, and I said, how many of you guys know what zone read is? I said, zone read. And they, a couple hands went. I said, know the name. I said, you know how it's blocked and what it is? And they're like, no. And I said, okay. I said, have you ever heard of option football? And they said, well, it's like you pitch, right? And I said, yeah, but what is option football? Right? I'm asking the understanding of it. And they looked, and I said, well, look, option football is you're basically not going to block a person. That's what it means. There's all different forms of not blocking a person, but you're going to make a decision off that person to make them wrong. So it could be option football, it could be zone read, it could be RPO. And then I walk them through, right, like a basic zone, inside zone blocking scheme. And, the defensive end was there. I said, now look what this does to our numbers. That's the guy, right? Before I did a drill, I explained the concept. And then I said, okay, this is what defenses were doing to stop that. They were scraping linebackers and exchanging gaps. And I said, but then the offense saw when a linebacker left, there was a void there. So that becomes the RPO. And all of a sudden, you could tell the light bulbs are going off, right? And then we went into the drill. So it made them understanding the footwork and where their eyes need to be a lot better. But I've done that more with my older kids with protections. I'll ask them, say, hey, do you know your protections? And a kid will say, yeah, I know my protection. He'll give me some LR word, and it's a 4-man turn, right?
Right.
I'm like, okay, what if they overload here? What are you going to do? And they look at me. I'm like, okay, you need to know how to fix that. You're going to college, and I'm telling you, this is stuff you've got to be able to ID a problem. And so we get into it. I have kids that, they didn't know the line techniques. And once you explain it to them, right, it's pretty easy. I can say, give me a 1, give me a 3, and that type of thing. But I've been doing more and more of that with my quarterbacks. In the past, with my college guys, as they get into that spring, their senior year, I mean, I really would corral them up, and I would tell them exactly, like, this is how this needs to go. And you need to sit down with the defensive coordinator. You're going to see, buzz 3, weak, balance 3, all that kind of stuff. And you need to get that guy to explain it to you like you're going to go play it, right? His job is to teach it. So he's going to be the best teacher of that defense for you to understand it. And how they feel. Anyway,
I think no, but this is why, right? Because it really is. It's a classroom on turf, and people miss it, and then can't figure out why there are gaps that exist in where they are in the game and what other people who are getting those offers are doing. It's usually in the minutia, but it needs to be talked about. Barry, can you hang for another segment?
Yeah, I'd love to today.
Okay, so we will toward the break. Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. Barry, your ears might have been burning the other night because I was talking about you to a local coach. I'll tell you that story, and we will go into detail when we come back to One-on-One.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Winter is upon us. Is your home prepared? If your furnace isn't keeping up or you've thought about replacing it, John Henry's has a new year, new unit special. When you purchase a select heating and cooling system from John Henry's, we will give you the furnace for free. There are also equipment and LES rebates up to an additional $850. This offer expires February 28th, so don't miss out. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give
John Henry's
a call or text today.
435-5555.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations? Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
High school sports on 93.7 The Ticket are brought to you by the Lincoln Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and Lincoln is excited to welcome big events to our community. Find out what's happening in Lincoln by visiting lincoln.org.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to One-on-One. We've got Fairfax Football Academy, Barry Thompson with us, breaking down. He's live in Indy, working with quarterbacks and kind of witnessing the process up close and personal. And it's been informative, kind of the process for folks who won't get to experience this thing, maybe figure out what they need to know about this. And Barry, kind sir, we had an opportunity to sit with Mickey Joseph.
Yes.
And your name came up, and we started talking about DC and the DMV and quarterbacks and receivers in that space. And he's aware, and we were just kind of pushing this thing. We talked a little bit about Baltimore, but we talked about Northern Virginia and about DC in general. The caliber of quarterbacks and receivers in DC, are they Nebraska friendly?
Yes, there are guys here that are worth taking a look at. Listen, you know this, and I know Mickey knows Southwest Louisiana where the receivers are. Out of Southwest, he knows where to go. But yes, there are quarterbacks in Northern Virginia who are definitely Big Ten guys. Now, at saying that, it kind of hurts me because I know in the state of Virginia, in that DMV area, if Maryland, UVA, or Tech ever did the Miami thing where they drew a ring around that circle and said nobody's getting out, the volume of quality players that the Big Ten has taken from our area, if we went back, it's listing. And they've done it. They've done it consistently, and I don't know why Nebraska isn't doing it consistently. There's guys here worth taking a look at. I told you about Daniel Leposki. You know, the last time we were on, I think he's a guy that he should be on a lot of people's radar. He can play the position. You can, do whatever you want, but you need to look at him. And there's some other guys that are coming along. I'll be able to put my name on it pretty soon. But yeah, they're here, and they're worth looking at.
So what we found out is that, in the future, there may be an opportunity for us to all get together in DC and talk about some dudes.
Okay, well, it'll be great. All right,
just
it'll be great.
That in play, right? That in play.
Yeah.
Several things about this when you're talking about quarterbacks and receivers. And again, this is for high school quarterbacks, youth little league quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, to kind of understand where they are, how to get to where they want to get to. And it's helpful to parents who are listening, who have young players who aren't quite sure how to maneuver within this space. Like, they don't know how to get recruited. They don't know what's required. They think, put together a video of them, making 10 throws for touchdowns, but it doesn't help them get what they want to get. So let's get into to what matters. What are recruiters looking for? Like, what should a tape look like?
All right. Well, let's start with the other. By the way, I just thought there's a very sexy receiver that Mickey needs to get his eyes on. I'll give you the name. His name is Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker.
We're all for that.
I'll text you.
Yes.
Yeah, he needs to take a look at it. Anyway, I'm not an expert on recruiting, but at this quarterback thing, I've gotten pretty good at understanding like what's not working, right? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm about to say is based solely on, and I almost tell my quarterbacks verbatim, I'm only going to give you advice on how to get your recruiting started.
Mm-hmm.
And the jumping off point from that is that, are you being recruited right now? And if the young person says no, then I said, okay, you can keep doing whatever you've been doing, or maybe you can try something different.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, I'll try something different. I say, here's what I suggest that you do. There are 6 levels of college football, 6. And only about 6% of high school football players go on to play. Do the math. 6 levels, 6%. So if you're not being recruited by an FBS FCS school, then you need to understand which of the other 4 levels would be looking for a person like you. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you figure that out? You get on the Google machine and you go to d3.com, or you go to d2.com, or you go to FCS, whatever it is, and you pull up all those schools and you start going through, in the quarterback position, their roster. And if you see on their roster that it's 6'3", 220, 6'4", 215, and you are 5'11", 180, then what you have to understand is that they are not looking for you. I'm not saying you can't play there, but they're not looking for you. They're looking for the guys on the roster. So if you want to get it started, keep going. Keep going until you find a roster, regardless of level. If you're 5'11", 180, that you see a guy who's 6 feet tall and he weighs 190. Okay, send your stuff to that school.
Mm-hmm.
And go find another one and send your stuff to that school.
Mm-hmm.
And find some more and send your stuff to that school, right? And keep looking for those where you physically see yourself on the roster and send your stuff there. Eventually, you're going to get a response. Because why? Because they're simply looking for a guy like you. And why hadn't they contacted you? They don't have Cornhusker money. They don't have Ohio State money.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford to send some guy into your ear, drive all around to the high school and explain to you where Eastern Kentucky is, right? And then hope that you'll get on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to initiate them to express an interest. You're going to have to convince them that you play. And then that's how it gets started, all right? That's it. Now, the most basic thing is this. If you're out there and you want to play in college, set the correct standard for yourself. And the easiest standard is this. Work as hard as you can to be the best player at your high school. The best player. If you are the best player at your high school, there should be no question that you're going to go to college. The question is where. And so for the quarterback, that's what I do with them to get them started. And once you get into that coaching realm, you just never know how coaches move, or, however that all works out, right? A guy happened to Miles. He was an FBS kid, Army, and a couple other schools offered him. And he was at this one thing, and this coach from actually Washington Lee, a coach, Division III school. And, Miles, very nice to him, and talked and said, yeah, but I'm really interested in this, blah, blah, blah. And they parted ways. Well, the next year, that coach was on the UPenn staff where Miles was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. Once you get in there and people start talking about you, you don't know. Whereas I'll tell another quick Thompson story. I always tell people, one time it was Edwin's final year at Bates College in Lewiston, Maine, as a Division III coach. The next year, he was an outfielder coach and recruiting coordinator for Duke. One year, it was his final year as head coach at Eastern Kentucky. The next year, he's head coach at Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just get in there, find the schools that are looking for you. And the best thing about this, DP, is for me, is when I send a kid on that search and he runs across Huniata, or he sees, Washington, Jefferson, he doesn't even know where it is. Now I push him a little bit more. Go in, find the coach's bio, what kind of system he runs. Because when you talk to him, don't be the regular guy, right? Be the guy who's looked at his bio and asked him, hey, coach, I saw you played at Pomona, or, I see 2 of your staff, they all played at Pomona. Tell me a little bit about that. It's a different conversation. And what it does from a college standpoint is it's forcing them to do some things that their parents are on them to do anyway. Evaluate the school. Do you want to be there? You know, how many girls are there? How far are you away from home?
Right.
You want to be that far away from home. Can your parents see the game? Can you get home? Right, that type of thing. Do you think you're going to play?
Do you want to play?
Not to play?
Do you want to play?
Do you think you're going to play? Yeah, well, you know, they'll have you on the team, but do you think you're going to play? Or you're taking this other route. Are you willing to sit behind, you know, my upper level guys, right? All right, look at the quarterback room. Who's in there, right? What's the pecking order? What's going on? You know, are you ready to fight through that?
Yeah, are you going to challenge that dude?
Right? Yeah. So yes, that's the simplest thing. At any level, you've gotta understand which schools might be looking for you and which aren't. If you're not being recruited, right? And you may want to play for, you know, Nebraska or whatever. Okay, if that's your dream, then go make that happen. Become an expert on how a 6'1", 250-pound guy plays defensive end at Nebraska. Be an expert at it.
Right.
Find out how that happens. Right. Don't sit around waiting for them because they're not going to come looking for you. You got to go make that one happen.
Yeah, they can't
right?
see everybody as much as they'd like to
Right.
believe that they can
Right.
or that they try to. They can't see everybody. Barry, from the text line, going back to a thing that you spoke about, that the player who acknowledges yes, no, I know, I don't know. But here's the text. In my experience from various coaches, if a kid says they don't know a play or they don't understand, they get ridiculed by the coach. Coach gets angry with them, and the kid is humiliated. So it's no surprise that they won't admit they don't know something. What's the bridge to that? We know it very well.
What's what?
What's the bridge to getting kids past that humiliated feeling? That's the coach.
Well, first of all,
that's
you
on the coach.
Humiliate them.
Right.
I think what that texter is conveying is real, but I think it's important before you yell at a player to really set the standards and the expectations for them to know it. Then if they haven't done those things, then you can hold them accountable for not doing the things, not the information, right? Because people process differently. So I'll give you a quick example. In the fall at Centerville, I had the receivers come in because we were doing stuff with the passing games. And so the first time they showed up, they didn't have any notebooks. And I said, go back to your lockers. Don't ever show up in a meeting with me without your notebooks, right? And then we went over some stuff, and then I had an app. I said, the stuff that we just went over, I'm going to put in the app, and I get to see who's looking at it, who's not. I expect you to know these things tomorrow. And if you have a question, hit me up tonight. Hit me up tonight. So knowing that they would all learn at different speed, I wanted to set the standard that you're to watch it, you're to write it down, I'm going to give it to you visually, you're to study it, and you're to ask questions. Now, if you come to the field next day and you screw it up, I'm going to get on you and I'm going to find out, I'm going to go back and check my stuff. You know, which one of these things you didn't do. So I'm going to get mad at you for not doing the things that I asked you to do, not so mad because you couldn't exactly remember the play. Now, after a period of time, I'm holding you accountable for the play. But yeah, I think it's important to set the expectations. We talked about this last time, right? The foundation. So this is how this is going to go. This is what you need to do. Right? If you do those things, okay, and you have a little trouble, I'll work with you on that. Let's find out what the problem is. But if you're not doing the things that you can control, and I've asked you to do them, then we got a problem.
We've been in the same huddle. Like, we understand. Listen, if it's something that I've taught you and something you acknowledge that you knew,
right,
I'll just look at you and say, okay, do I need to reteach it? Like, I'm not asking if you know or not. I'm going to reteach it.
Sure.
Like, the moment you tell me you don't know, I got coaching to do. That's simple. And I don't know how that gets blown up, but we know that it happens because we've seen it and had to fix it ourselves. BT, it's Indy. What are you eating?
Man, Indy low key is a really good food town. I don't know if I had any expectations of coming to Indianapolis at all. I didn't. But low key, it's a great food town. This breakfast place out here called Pachachu. I just found it and said one of the best preferences, and so it has everything that you'd want, like in a nice little place. It's got eggs and all that stuff. They got omelets and all that stuff, but there were a couple little dishes that they put on the side. One was called the Cuban, and it was the rice and beans. And sometimes when you go and get those in a non-Latin place, they can be a little flavorless.
Right.
But there's a thing called adobo, so there's just a touch of adobo on there. There was some type of cheese. I had an egg over easy, and then there's a little bit of sour cream to kind of make it look pretty. But the star of the dish, surprisingly, was this spinach jalapeno pesto. And I'm not a big pesto guy, but that spinach jalapeno pesto, it really worked. Because pesto's going to have you in the cheese. It's just a fantastic dish. Went to a place called Flatfish, Great Oysters in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
6 different varieties in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
Their thing is fresh off the ice. Really great little spot called Mass Avenue, oldest shoe store in the world, amidst like 5 or 6 of these little spots, right? You go and I was there early for dinner and you can be in a spot and you can feel that night vibe start to come in, right? The volume picks up and, those types of things. Really, really nice. A lot of stuff around here. Really surprised. And I don't know if you'd say Indy's a destination point, but I'll tell you, a town to come in and kick it around a little bit. It's pretty cool. We had a hotel on the canal. Got hooked up pretty nice there. It's been a fun visit. Oh, DP, you got 2 minutes?
Yeah.
This one, if you and I saw this, we would have freaked out. I was going down this road and I see this big dinosaur on the corner, like, molded type of thing, and it's a building. And it turns out it's something called a Dinosphere. So it's a children's museum. And so I'm looking at it, that's pretty cool. And I go right past it. It has a corner presentation. You're on the street, and then as you go down, you can see the entrance to it, a kind of playful entrance. But DP, right next to it, like smacked up against it, is something called the Sports Legends Experience. Now, I couldn't get in because there was a fence around it, but they had these different basketball courts, like Pacer stuff, and there's little stands, and then there was a football turf field with Colt stuff on it, and then there was a hockey thing. They had a little section that imitated like drag racing. There was a track that went around. There was a baseball diamond. There was a tree house. There was a concession stand. And I was at that fence trying to get a look at this thing. And I thought to myself, if I lived here, they would have to, when I was younger, they would have to electrify that fence.
Yeah.
Put razor wire.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
But that would only keep me out until my tunnel was finished. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Like this has to happen. Like you've got to be in there.
Oh my God.
You've got to get in.
I think they open up. I saw something. They open a little bit after I leave. But yeah, so Indianapolis is just kind of full of those little surprises I told you about for the women's tournament. I was going to meet with the CEO of my payment platform, Upper Hand, and I look and I see Cornhuskers. Mm-hmm. I go, what? So Kevin tells me, he says, well, when teams come in, like the ladies' tournament, they take certain street signs and they make them the names of the teams that are coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another little thing, we're walking on the sidewalk there, and I'm noticing that these bricks, like, just randomly have names on them. Right? A little small town touch. And I go, what's up with these things? And he goes, well, those are veterans that are from Indiana that have died. Yeah. Like all these little touches in this little place. Really kind of cool place.
A couple of places. The Indy Stout House in Indy is a Huskers bar. Hoss Bar and Grill is a Husker bar. The guy was telling me that before. They've got a Rocky Mountain Husker Benders bar or something. There's like 3 or 4 places where the Huskers can rally and get together and watch ball games. Okay. So, hey, BT, man, listen, love you, appreciate you. Good stuff today. Pat young Mr. Meyer on the back and say well done, and then we'll talk next week.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Right. Barry Thompson, Fairfax Football Academy. We'll throw it to break. Close out one-on-one. Get you all set up for the Captain Show when we come back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is upon us. Is your home prepared? If your furnace isn't keeping up or you've thought about replacing it, John Henry's has a new year, new unit special. When you purchase a select heating and cooling system from John Henry's, we will give you the furnace for free. There are also equipment and LES rebates up to an additional $850. This offer expires February 28th, so don't miss out. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give
John Henry's
a call or text today.
45, 55, 55.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloudy skies for the majority of the day, but should see a little clearing later this afternoon. Much cooler, but still mild. A high of 51, east winds at around 15. Cloudy tonight with a low of 32. We'll see a decent amount of cloud cover tomorrow, but a big warm-up with a high of 73 and a slight chance of a late afternoon, evening shower or thunderstorm. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
And I've told you that Dan Billy Waldrop story where back when you could talk to the players one-on-one, we were just BSing after a practice, and I just said, "Hey, so where you living?" He goes, "Well, I live over on right off Holdridge Street." I go, "You like it over there?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm walking distance from the Dairy Queen."
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Jennifer Peters of Security First Bank.
There are a lot of ways we can work to find the best fit for your situation. Let me help you explore your options.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 616194.
Back to One-on-One with DP, presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of One-on-One. I want to say thank you to folks at Beatrice Bakery. Gives us a chance every day to make somebody smile, and we got a wonderful card. We cannot devalue the goodness of gifts. Like, our ability to make people smile is important. Quotes like, "Thank you for thinking of us. Thank you so much for the care package. We love our jobs, but coming into work and finding such a lovely surprise makes it so much more fun. Words cannot express how grateful I am that you chose the Huntington L team. Thank yous happen when you're kind to people, but that's not why you're kind to them. You're kind to them to let them know that they are seen, acknowledged, heard, known. Beatrice Bakery allows us to do this 250 times a year. We will do it again today. Why? Because it affects people the way it affected this group. We know that to be true. That's what it's for. So remember, you can nominate folks. Let them know that you're thinking of them. Reach out to ticketfm.com. Find the Beatrice Bakery banner. And then nominate somebody for a smile, a care package, a pat on the back, an attaboy, an attagirl. One Husker at a time, we will make folks smile. Why? Because we should. We simply should. Rico, thank you. Barry Thompson, thank you for what you did. Nick, Rashawn Jackson will carry us through the next several hours. It's been a good day. Huskers, Illinois, 7:30. 5 o'clock at Bowling. It's Wichita State versus the Huskers in softball. There's a reason to enjoy the day. Weather's a little brisk, but we can still do it. Think of a way to make somebody smile. And if you're not sure, reach out. We'll think of one for you. We've got the care package. We just need you and your nomination. Y'all be good. And until I will see you then. 3 words. Go. Big Red.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's